Eurovision fam, I am back in the building and we have so much to talk about because this is my 10 things I don't want to see at Eurovision 2024. Let's get into it. Hey, if you've never been to my channel before, welcome. If you love the Eurovision Song Contest, I think you're going to love my content. So please take this opportunity to like this video and subscribe. You know, subscribes are free. And if you love Eurovision, you're going to want to chat with me. Yeah, we do live streams, polls, videos, commentary stuff. And of course, once we get these songs for the 2024 season, we'll have some reactions in there. So please take this opportunity to subscribe. 10 things I don't want to see at Eurovision 2024. Now, I do this video every year. You know, it's really rooted in optimism. It's rooted in optimism because every year I want us to have the best, most competitive Eurovision Song Contest we can possibly have. And even more than that, not just that, the best television show experience that we can have, okay? The best television show experience that we can have. And even for those of you who can actually afford to travel to experience Eurovision in person, yes, the most amazing trip, the most amazing in-person fan experience that you can have with the Eurovision Song Contest. So that is the disclaimer. We're level setting. That's what we try to do over here. And because we learn from our mistakes, just because we had something happen, it didn't mean that we were wrong or anything like that. We like to improve. And the only way that we can improve is by learning from those mistakes and talking about them. Okay? So we got a lot to talk about, y'all. So number one, I'm going to kick off with this. And if you watched my content last year, you were probably sick and tired of me talking about this once we got into the rehearsal period of Eurovision commentary season, and that is the sound. Now, last year we had our head of sound, Mr. Bob Edwards, I think that was his name, Robert. This year, when we hire our head of sound, it need not be Bob. So we can start from there. It need not be Bob. And we need to make sure that our sound is leveled appropriately. We need to hear our performers when they are on the stage. We need to have the proper levels of the backing vocals, and having all of that come together so that we have this wonderful, beautiful, immersive sonic experience. Because at the end of the day, this is the Eurovision Song Contest. And if the sound is bad, then that is going to affect how we experience these songs. So yes, next year, one of my 10 things I don't want to see, and I should probably add the asterisk of here, is bad, poorly mixed sound. I think we can all agree on that, right? Number two, not one Petra sighting. We need to see Petra. I don't care what capacity. I know a lot of people, and it's fine if she doesn't host. Okay, let's give the opportunity to some other people. And I've talked about this in detail on the Eurovision For Real podcast. So if you love podcasts, you should subscribe to the Eurovision For Real podcast because I talk about this at length in one of my latest episodes. I just need to see her in some capacity. If that's bringing her in for a skit, cool. But we cannot pretend as if the Petra Mede does not exist. Okay? I don't think that that's asking for too much. Look, when you're the best at something, when you're the best, you got to get that shine. And I'm also hoping that maybe there is a Petra presenting boot camp or something. Petra's practice hall. Petra's presenting practice hall. Come up with it, because whomever takes on this role has very big shoes to fill. And she was rocking heels. All right now. Number three, and this is for the fans. This is for y'all. At this point, I don't want to hear anybody talking about songs being generic. Now, I will say, for those of you who are here, who are my subscribers, not y'all. I'm talking about the other fans that don't, that aren't here, Because here, we like things that are out of the box. We know when a track is generic, okay? And we appreciate the songs that are risky. Those of us here. But for the rest of these people, I don't want to hear anyone talking about, oh, this song's so generic. Because guess what? Y'all lost that right. Y'all lost that privilege to talk about songs being generic. Because guess what? You like it.
You like it.
You like those generic songs. You reward those generic songs with points. You pick up the phone and you call for them. And then the songs that are risky and out of the box, you don't. So, We have now, as a fandom, collectively, kind of lost that privilege. Because at the end of the day, you have to be real with yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and just go, I'm a generic, basic girl. And I don't like avant-garde songs. Yes, I'm talking to you. Not us. You know what I'm saying? Not us. Not subscribers. We like out of the box. Talking to the other ones. They have proven it to us. And, you know, when people show you who they are, when they tell you who they are, you have to believe them. All right, number 4 of my 10 things I don't want to see at Eurovision 2024. Ireland not qualifying. Ireland not qualifying. I need Ireland back in the grand final. I do. I need them back in the grand final. And quiet as it's kept Latvia. But I feel more fervent for Ireland, okay? I'm going more fervent for Ireland this year. Next year. And maybe it's because, I don't know, it's so bad. Like, I feel like Latvia is trying. And I feel like Latvia could get there. I do. I feel like they could get there. And I don't know why it's not happening. But I have the faith that Latvia can get there. With Ireland, we've got a lot of work. But your main goal is to qualify. It's looking like a taller order than it probably should be. But I have faith in you. And we got to make this happen. We got to get Ireland back in the grand final. It must occur. Next up with my 10 things I don't want to see at Eurovision 2024. Artist singing full out at rehearsals, sounding good, and then being unable to do so for the live shows and the jury shows. Let's cut that out. If we know that we are losing our voice, if we're having vocal issues, if we don't want to strain our voice, then what we do is we don't sing. We could hum even. We can hum the track. We don't have to sing full out. And this is really in particular for my young performers because I want y'all to have a career. I want y'all to be able to sing your hearts out for the rest of your life. And that's not going to be happening if we're singing full out all the time, damaging our vocal cords in the process at times when it doesn't even matter and you do not have to. That is, I just truly. And I would say in particular where this cropped up was Norway with Alessandra. Obviously, we know the girl can sing. She sang it live perfectly at the national selection. So then to get to Eurovision and then be unable to deliver that track with the power that we know she has, no. And I remember there was a day, I think this was the jury show rehearsal. The rehearsal before the jury show, she sang full out and sounded great. And then got to the jury show and was unable to do it. And I just was like, what a waste. You didn't have to do that at the rehearsal. You could have marked it. So I don't want to see that anymore. And if this is something that the organizers are saying, no, we need you to sing full out at every single rehearsal. Nope. These rehearsals are more for these camera people and these light people. It is not for me as a vocalist. That's the world I'm living in at this point. All right. Number 6, we are just plowing through this list. We're plowing through this list. Efficient. Number 6, the EBU removing juries altogether. I have to state my claim. I have to say that this is my position. I have to say it because I know a lot of people were upset ultimately with the results at the end. A lot of people were upset about our eventual results of the Eurovision Song Contest. And I gotta say, although I did not miss the juries in the semifinal, I think we could keep them out of that. For the final, for the grand final, Saturday night, I'm gonna need those juries to still be present. Because honestly, this goes back to my number three thing. I feel like with love, I trust some of y'all, but I can't trust all of y'all. You know what I mean? I could trust some of y'all, but I cannot trust all of y'all. And because I cannot trust all of y'all, not yet. It'll happen. I think there will be a time where I think, everyone will be able to be trusted. But currently, I cannot trust all of y'all. Because if you think that Manuel Navarro, Do It For Your Lover, should be getting the same amount of points as, then we have problems. We got problems. Yeah, so I don't want to see the EBU removing juries altogether. What I do want to see, and again, I have been consistent in this, and so for the people who are subscribers, you could maybe fast forward these like 20 seconds. For those of you who are new, I just want y'all to be clear on where I stand on the issue. I think it should be a 60-40 split, juries at 40%, televote at 60%. I think that feels fair. I think that feels like we've got the juries to do kind of the corrective measures, just enough, but we are still giving the power to the people. And that is where I'm living. Honestly, I would love to get rid of the juries altogether, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm burnt because some of y'all basic girls out there are ruining it for the artiste. Number 7 of my 10 things I don't want to see at Eurovision 2024. Less than 40 participating countries. I want the best, most competitive Eurovision Song Contest that we can possibly have. And the only way that actually happens is if we've got more competition on the stage. So I want at least 40 countries participating. And part of this also is a little bit cost related. I think the fact that some of these countries cannot participate because of the funds is sad. I think it is sad. And I just think if this is a public broadcaster sort of situation, to me, there is a level of Eurovision that feels like diplomacy. It feels like a little bit of public diplomacy where you are introducing the world to you, an artist, your country. People pick up their phones and they Google it. Where is this person from? You know, you might have some people who are like, what is North Macedonia? I know. Yes, there are people who probably say that. I would love for those people to pick up and then learn about the countries. And so when we don't have those countries on the stage represented, kind of giving that introduction to some people, or maybe even dispelling the stereotype, people might think, oh, wow, this song is from France. I thought France would be more like this. You know what I mean? Like, we can dispel this stuff. And that doesn't happen when you have countries that are unable to participate. So I want my Montenegros in the mix. I want my North Macedonia in the mix. I want some of these countries that used to come to Eurovision and have so much fun. I want Turkey back. I'm like, come on, Morocco, you can come back. Andorra, come back. I want to see at least 40 countries participating this year. And currently, right now, as of me recording this video, we've got 27 countries confirmed. We've probably got like 4 to 5 countries on the shelf that haven't officially announced, but will. And that is not enough. I need more. Give me more songs. Okay. Number 8 in my 10 things I don't want to see at Eurovision 2024. I will just say brava to the men last year. For years, we have been talking garbage about you and these sad slacks and black t-shirts, or just t-shirts in general, and dress slacks. This year, men, y'all came together. You hired stylists. You actually decided to peacock a little bit on the stage. You decided to be a little bit daring with what you gave us. And for the most part, I have to say, brava to you gents. Now, my ladies. Hey, ladies. I'm gonna need for us to do better. We're not going to the mall. We're not going to a cocktail party. We're not going to a wedding. We're not going to the club. I'm gonna need for us to do better. We are gonna be on the Eurovision Song Contest stage. The world is going to be seeing us, and we gotta look our best. And I think what shocked me the most a little bit about the ladies' styling this year, for the most part, is we had downgrades from the national selection to the Eurovision stage. That should never happen. Where the outfit you wore in the national selection is better than what you had on the big stage, at the big show, for the international audience? No, I don't want it. I don't want it. So ladies, I have faith in you. I'm not even really worried. I just know I needed to call it out, give the note, because how can we improve if we don't call it out? And I'm not saying everybody failed. Everybody did not fail. But if I'm judging en masse, the men leagues above us. Leagues. leagues above us this year. Can't let that happen again. We need to at least be on par. So that's what I'm saying. Number 9, and this is sort of in the same vein, it's the Eurovision Song Contest. And I love the fact that the contest has evolved to where people are being daring on stage. We're getting these immersive experiences. We're really going for it. And this year, it's interesting because we had no LED screens at Eurovision 2018. None. And I felt like the staging packages were, in a weird way, better. I felt like for the folks who really did it, they did it. We're talking Sweden. We're talking Finland. We're talking Switzerland. We're talking even Denmark, who didn't make it through. I'd even say Armenia gave us something interesting. But the bulk of folks on the stage, it was like I was looking at staging packages that could have been done in 2012, could have been done in 2010. I didn't see a lot of technological advances. And so maybe some of that was due to our host broadcaster. Maybe, there were a lot of limitations placed on it. But I wanted to see a little bit more of the immersive experiences on the stage. I'd say a missed opportunity. Portugal, we could have done so much more. Norway, y'all got budget? We could have done so much more. To shout out some of the people who did do it. Australia, great job. Immersive experience. But some of these countries that even hired creative directors. I don't know if it came down to the budget. I don't know if it came down to the creative vision of maybe our performers, and perhaps that was clashing with what the creative team wanted to do. But we could have had far more immersive experiences on the stage. We had such sonic diversity this year that the execution of the staging packages, it just seemed like a lot of missed opportunities, in my opinion. I think France could have done more. It was almost like all the nuggets were there, but then the camera angles didn't really bring it to life in the way that it could have. Austria had all the energy, all the creativity, all the opportunities to camp it up and have fun. And then we got this kind of straightforward, serious VMA performance. I'm like, wait, what? We can play around with augmented reality. We can play around with our camera angles. We can do some shots from above where the LEDs kind of on the bottom. I mean, there were some countries that really, really did it this year, but I think their excel in all of this just made those who played it safe look even kind of cheaper, even more budget, even more straightforward, and borderline boring. Now, before we get to my 10th and final 10 things that I don't want to see at Eurovision 2024, I'm going to take this moment to give some honorable mentions. So, of course, I don't want to see the pre-recorded backing vocals back, but it's going to happen. They're going to be back, and so that's why I didn't even have it in the official list, because it's just it's going to happen. I am waiting for our next host country that will actually put their foot down and go, no, we got to get back to everybody singing live. Honestly, it's the great equalizer. And in a competition like this that I think is just going to become more and more competitive, just having that base rate sort of level set of and every vocal has to be live, I just think creates a nice dynamic that, to me, makes it feel more fair of a competition. And I will just leave it at that. The other honorable mention, y'all, did we not learn our lesson back in 2017? Why were there all of these people's faces on the LEDs completely unmanipulated, looking exactly like the person on the stage was looking? And this goes back to my number 9 thing. I think a lot of the staging packages this year were mad lazy. They were super lazy. Case in point, Greece, why was that young man, and why were those LEDs happening? Even though I think luckily they didn't all come through, in the broadcast, the people in the venue still had to sit through it and go really, what? Now, I don't mind if the image is going to be manipulated. So good examples of it, the UK's performance, May, sort of the pop art feel of it, very good use of LEDs. Katia, obviously, very artful, fun, innovative ways to utilize the LED. But this year we still had a lot of like the artist faces on the LED. So it didn't make it to the official list because it wasn't like it was as widespread as 2017. But I need not be seeing it again this year at Eurovision 2024. Come on now. And my other honorable mention, because I just think there's no way around it, is for host. We don't need it. Petra hosted by herself in 2013 and it was fine. We had Petra and Mons, just a duo, in 2016 and it was fine. Why cut all these checks for all of these people? Let's save the money, find 2 proficient people to do it and just ride on that. Ride on that. I would even accept 3 hosts, but I don't want 4. I don't. We don't need it. My other honorable mention is, you know, there was like a little bit of controversy, and I don't think I was like caught in it, even though I was present, I guess, for the controversy. But I was on a podcast, and the podcast, I won't name names, but everyone will know. But there was a question that was asked, like, what's the worst song this year? And I think ultimately the question was probably posed incorrectly, because I will say, if there was like footage of it, you could see like when the question was asked to me, I was kind of like, like, are we really like asking this? So I was kind of, but I think what they meant was like what we thought was most likely to end up in the bottom. And there was so when people answered, the prevailing answer was Romania. And then I said, I was like, actually, I think, you know, Romania, because given their track record, they typically stage well. I was like, and I didn't think the song was really the problem. I just thought the national selection staging package was the problem. I actually thought, like, if they just switched that up, like, I think it could get some points. But I did say, but my answer was San Marino, because I was like, it just seems like the song has no momentum. Like, no one seems to be like, oh, this is like one of the songs I'm like bopping to. It just, the love for it didn't seem to be like en masse. So I was like, yeah, San Marino for me. But here's the thing. There was like a whole bunch of people like coming at them like, oh, this was wrong and blah, blah, blah. And again, I will give you, I don't think the question should have been framed that way. It should have just been like, what song do you think is most likely to like not do well? Which I think is a fair question when we were talking about a competition where there will be people who finish on the top and there will be people who finish on the bottom, like just period. But here's the thing. Everyone was like criticizing them and everything and acting all self-righteous and like, how dare they, blah, blah, blah. But here we are. San Marino and Romania got 0 points. 0. 0 points. So like, if you were so upset and like, how dare they say that they're so wrong, and then the song got 0 points, like, come on, let people like the stuff that they like, let people hate the stuff that they hate, and move on. Because we're not all gonna like the same stuff. Like, it's just the truth. And if you listened to the podcast, like, no one was really saying that. No one was like, oh, his vocals are bad and blah, blah, blah. It just was like, yeah, it's probably just not gonna do well. And guess what? It didn't do well. Neither of the songs did. And not only did they not do well, they both got 0 points. 0. So let people like what they like. Let people not like what they like. And it's not about a pylon because, you know, we keep it real respectful over here, I say. And I wouldn't say anything that I wouldn't say to any of these people's faces. True tea. I just am like, let's just, come on. Come on now, y'all. We have to be realistic. It's a competition. It's a competition. That's what we're doing. The honorable mention, I don't want to hear no Fuego 5.0, Chanel 2.0 references. Because guess what? When Spain actually gave you something avant-garde and out of the box, y'all paid a dust. So if people want to do Fuego 7.0, 10.0, X.0, whatever, to infinity, who cares? If it's well executed, it's good, and the people are gobbling it up, what is the critique? What's the critique? And my 10th and final thing that I don't want to see happen, experience at Eurovision 2024 is conspiracy theories about why a song won. We have rules, we have criteria, people can fulfill the said criteria. We don't need to speculate. All we need to do is do our part, pick up the phone and call, And also, I would say for some of these broadcasters, in some of these countries, like reach out maybe. Reach out. Make it very clear. Like stream the songs. Make the songs poppin', because ultimately, I think a lot of these people are complaining about like the juries and stuff, and it's like, how could they? But guess what the most streamed song of Eurovision 2023 was? Our winner. And let's be real, that doesn't always happen. We have had years where non-winning songs are streamed. So we actually have a winning song that has been streamed to death. Somebody's liking it. Someone's gobbling it up. So the conspiracy theories, you can be upset that a song won. I agree. Like you can be upset. You can be like, oh man, I really wish that song didn't win. But we don't need the conspiracy theories. We don't need those. We don't need those, because it's a competition and we have rules. And if people, tick all the boxes and get the points that they need to get to win, what is the conspiracy about that? Don't beat me up. Well, those are my 10 things I don't want to see at Eurovision 2024. What do you think? Drop down and talk to me in the comments below. Yes, this video means that I'm back. I'm back. We got so much to talk about. So please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you love the Eurovision Song Contest, come on over. The beauty of it over here is you don't have to agree with me. That's not the point. All you have to do is love Eurovision. We should celebrate our differences, because isn't that what like Eurovision is low-key about? Because this is the thing. We can be totally different, but we do have the most important thing in common. We all love the Eurovision Song Contest. Thank you for watching.